Atlanta delivers us another extremely close finish race. And my playoff bracket is already busted. All that and more on Too Fast Exiting. Hi y'all, I'm Jimmy. I'm by myself today. Ashley is under the weather, so we're gonna see if we can carry this on our own. How'd y'all like that intro? My buddy Skip sent that in to us over the weekend. We liked it, so we decided we would use it. Thank you, Skip, very much for that. Skip is a camera guy. He takes pictures and stuff for weddings and all kinds of other events. Can't Skip This is one of the, I think that's the name he goes by. But yeah, he did some fabulous work there. We're going to keep using that, if y'all don't mind. So we ramble a lot when we have this. I ramble a lot. It is what it is. We're going to try to cut that out a little bit with our news stories. So we're starting a new segment called The Big Three. The Big Three is going to be news, the top 3 headlines from this week, according to me. So with that being said, here we go with the Big Three. Number 3, Bob Pockrass tweets, Hendrick Car's website had previously said it would sponsor Rajah Caruth for 10 truck races in 2024. It now will sponsor the truck for the full 23 races. Caruth was 3rd at Daytona and 8th at Atlanta. I'm a Rajah Caruth fan. That's who I pull for in the truck, so it's big news to me. I'm happy about it. I'm glad to see Hendrick Cars extend that sponsorship for a guy who I think is well deserving. I think that first win is coming. I thought he was going to get it last year, but I think for sure we'll get it this year. Moving on. Number 2. Andrew Marchand tweeted, News. The biggest name in NASCAR, Dale Earnhardt Jr., is leaving NBC for 2 newcomers. The Athletic has learned. Wow. Okay. Well, that's big news. So what I'm hearing is the move is not going to be official until 2025. So it's next year. But they're saying that he's going to take the rest of the year off. He's not going to broadcast on NBC this year. Are they going to replace him? Who would they replace him with? That's all up for debate. I guess we'll see later on in the year. Some names I could see being thrown around might be Almirola. I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Oh, and the 2 newcomers that I'm hearing for where he may go are Amazon and Warner Brothers Discovery. Next year they're going to do broadcast on Amazon and stuff like that. So that may be where that's going. Number 1, Adam Stern tweets, at Marshall Pruitt, if you're a Honda fan and you like NASCAR, you're probably going to be really happy here in the future. That's what was said on the Weekend Indy podcast on the 27th of February. OEM, original equipment manufacturer, is going to be like your Ford, your Toyota, and your Chevy. From what I'm hearing, Honda's not going to replace anybody. Honda would just be a 4th OEM for NASCAR moving forward. And it would have to be at least 2 years before they would move into NASCAR. There's a lot of approvals that would have to go into it. But yeah, that's really, really big news for the sport. And I guess if you're a Honda fan, it's pretty big news. Let's go on to the Atlanta recap. So, last week on the show, I said I didn't think there would be a big one. And if there was a big one, it may involve 5 or 6 cars. I couldn't have been more wrong. At the end of the race, there were maybe 5 or 6 cars that were not involved in a wreck. It was wild. There was a massive wreck on, I think, lap 3, and it involved 19 cars. And while that was going on, Joey Logano was serving a penalty for a modified glove. And he was doing his pass-through. You couldn't have timed it better if you were Joe Logano. It worked out perfectly for him. But like I said, a lot of guys were torn up. There was another Chris Buescher hit the wall and collect Logano and Hamlin on about lap 160. Larson and Keselowski and LaJoy. They just kept saying it too. The 5, 6, and 7. They all got tangled up in the wall. Larson got the worst of that. LaJoy got a little damage. Keselowski got a little damage. I think it ended up knocking Keselowski just about out too, though. I don't know. Either way, at least we're not going to be at a super speedway. So Keselowski cannot wreck the entire field this week. I'm sorry, Jeremy. But let's move on to... we were under red flag for 11 minutes, 24 seconds. From a wreck that involved Briscoe, Hamlin, Berry, Burton, and Haley. Lap 250, there was our final wreck of the day with Cindric, Berry, Hocevar, and Elliott. Not everybody got taken out in that wreck, but a lot of the wrecks after the first big one were just fender benders and stuff like that. But, oh man, that finish. It was one of the closest finishes I can remember seeing. But Daniel Suarez eked it out. Got a W. And from what I'm seeing, the people that do the diecast, like the race win diecast, are going to actually put the taco pinata on his vehicle. So if you buy diecast, that'll be a good one to get. I'm thinking about it. So let's go over the top 10 here. Daniel Suarez was first, and also that's the one that knocked my playoff bracket out of loop. I didn't have him making the playoffs this year. Number 2, Ryan Blaney. Number 3, Kyle Busch. 4th, Austin Cindric. 5th, Bubba. 6, Stenhouse. 7, Chastain. 8, McDowell. 9, Buescher. And 10, Ty Gibbs. So what stands out to me out of that top 10 is Ricky Stenhouse. That's a good run for him, especially with as many wrecks as there were. And Ricky Stenhouse was not involved. Hey man, making improvements. I like it. You like to see it. Now we're going to go into the segment of Too Fast Exiting. I'm going to try to do this on my own. Ashley's not here. She usually carries this. Let's see what we can do. Here we go. Hemrick had too many men over the wall. McDowell and Byron wreck going into pits. Josh Berry, BJ McLeod, and Ross Chastain were caught speeding. Stenhouse, Busch, and Bubba Wallace were caught speeding. Eric Jones had an uncontrolled tire. And then Michael McDowell got caught pitting outside the box. No bueno. There were also some penalties that were handed out after the Atlanta race. Bob Pockrass tweeted about it. Bob Pockrass tweets, Preece and Gregson docked 35 points for roof air deflectors. Logano was fined $10,000 for his glove violations that we talked about earlier. And in Xfinity, Yaley's crew chief, JJ Yaley, his crew chief, was suspended for 2 races for an altercation with Kyle Weatherman. So, there's your penalties. It sounds like Logano's getting just stiffed on this glove thing. When I saw it, it actually made more sense for him to get in trouble for it because he had, what was this hand? Had the webbing here, and the drivers will hold their hand up to block wind on super speedways when they're going down the straightaway. It's supposed to help with horsepower, cut back on drag. I don't know, but he had it over there, and you had the little thing flapping. It told on himself. So that should close out Atlanta, one of the closest races I've seen. And now we will move on to Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas. Last year in Vegas, Byron and Larson were the class of the field. They dominated every stage, and then they were there at the end. So I look for them to do more of the same this year. I wouldn't be surprised to see Keselowski or somebody from RFK that go up there, though. Keselowski led a few laps last year, and RFK as an organization, as a whole, has gotten better from about the midway point last year to this year. So with those improvements, when last year they were struggling at this time, I could see this being a sleeper pick for you. You know, somebody could sneak in, and it could be Brad Keselowski. Could very well be Brad Keselowski. I dogged him earlier for his wrecks, but it could be him this week. This could be his week. Also, don't count out Kyle Busch and Noah Gragson, because they are hometown boys. You always want to do better in front of your hometown, and this is their hometown track. I don't know. We'll see if I pick them. Let's look at the playoff standings moving into Las Vegas. In first place, locked in, Byron, and Suarez is in second, locked in. In third is Busch, plus 30, and you can see the rest of the list here. Some ones that stand out to me are, well, we see Chase Elliott is back in the playoff picture. Blaney's kind of low after winning a championship last year, but 6, you're still in. I mean, there's only been 2 races. Bubba's up in there. That's good. Chastain's lower than I would like for him to be. Don't tell Ash that. Larson, look at that. He's way down lower than I would have expected. But you get into trouble every now and then at certain tracks. And LaJoy, my man, in the playoffs as of right now. The season we're in today, obviously it's not. But they could end it today if they wanted to and just let LaJoy go ahead and get in the playoffs. Some more things that stood out to me. Hamlin is not beating our favorite driver, is he? In fact, he's barely beating anybody. He is in 19th right now, outside, looking in. But even worse than that, even worse than what you're seeing on your screen right now, the fact that Logano is 29 points out of the playoffs in 31st. Also, Austin Dillon and Brad Keselowski are 31 points back in 33rd and 34th, respectively. Lack of respectively. Weekend schedule. Well, first of all, let me give you my weather. It's going to be good. The weather's fine. Weekend schedule. Trucks are going to be Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central on FS1. Xfinity is Saturday, 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central on, you called it, FS1. And then Cup on Sunday, the big boys, 3:30 p.m., 2:30 Central on the mother station, Fox, FOX. So tune in, watch. I think something crazy could happen. The way this season has gone so far, how could something crazy not happen? All right, so I'm going to show you now my picks. Are you ready? Let me show you the favorites right here. Pretty good looking class. Pretty good looking. But where I'm going to go is William Byron, 9-1. 9-1. Let's do it. Let's see what happens. And this is obviously, this is the NASCAR apps odds. So you see plus 900. That is 9-1. And for my long shot, this week is going to be Christopher Buescher from RFK. Mr. Christopher. I said RFK could do it this weekend. I said Keselowski, but the class of the organization for a while now has been, and will be until he is knocked off his pedestal, is Chris Buescher. So 28-1. Give me Chris Buescher. I like that. I'll take it. Lock it in. And that's all. That's all I got this week. It was me by myself. I did carrying this organization like I'm Chris Buescher myself. Ash, we hope you feel better. We hope to get you back out here. We can keep this Allgaier flag up though. But anyway, as she would want me to do right now, go to a party with your ex showing up. The subscribe button. Grab the like button, have it set in your lap to make the subscribe button jealous. And we'll see you next week. Love y'all. Bye.